I'm looking for profit, la, la, la. It has to be something that's more than yourself. That's what the Army was to me. That's what America is to me. And I want Cyasoon to be the same for my team. You upload a video, a selfie video. You speak into the video saying what it is that you want to do. The AI does all the work. It finds all the people within a 1 mile radius of you who say something similar. You choose if you want to hang out with that person. They get a notification that, hey, this person wants to, hang with you, doing whatever it is that you want to do. Go meet up. We'll send you to a park to run. We'll send you to a track. We'll send you to a bowling alley. The more specific you are, the better the location is that you and your new friend go to. And then you end up, you hang out, you have a great time. Done. Easy. Go make friends on Cyasoon. But when it comes to social media, it's crack cocaine for the masses. I want to bring back the genuine nature of interpersonal communication and interpersonal relationships back to the world.
Welcome, guys, back to the Internet Podcast, episode 8. Today I have a very special guest, the CEO and co-founder of Cyasoon, Ketan.
How's it going? Pleasure to be here. Appreciate it, Sebastian.
Thank you. So, from the beginning, you sent me your bio, and I read your bio, and I was pretty impressed, to say the least, with all what you have done so far.
Yeah, no, that bio, I just slapped something together. Like, give me a bio, give me a profile photo. I mean, this is my first podcast, official podcast. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to, be here with you, and I'm really impressed with what you've done, with the work you're doing at Interlick Staffing. But yeah, I needed a bio. Like, okay, it's time. I've been putting this off. I'm not like one to really toot my horn, running around town, like telling everybody all the things that I'm doing and what I've done. But I mean, I'm definitely a talker. Don't get me wrong. I'll talk your head off. But I wanted to keep it short and sweet. But yeah, I mean, that's the long and the short of it. What I sent you, where I am right now. I mean, it's definitely not my life story. One of the things that I've been trying to do is be as brief as I possibly can to get the point across. That's a skill that I still have to acquire. But yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I just shot that over to you. I appreciate it.
No, yeah. So for the viewers that are like, if you don't mind, kind of like just like a quick bio of you. You were a software engineer for almost 10 years. Yeah. Then you became a special force sergeant, and now you are doing Cyasoon. So just like before we start, like if you don't mind going in depth about what's Cyasoon, what's the startup that you have been working on, and then we can go ahead with your journey.
Yeah. Oh no. So okay. Yeah, I'm the CEO. I'm co-founder of Cyasoon. Cyasoon it's my pride and joy. It is the mission that I'm currently on, that my team is on, and it's the easiest way to go out and make new friends right now. Okay, it's a mobile app. It's a mobile app platform, and it's a way for people who are new to an area. Maybe they're travelers. Maybe they're just straight up just want to make some new friends, and they're feeling friction from society. There's a lot of friction out there to go out and make new friends, whether it's scheduling or time, or maybe they're not, familiar with the area or familiar with people. And there's also social dynamics that are in play that would prevent you from going out and engaging with another person very quickly, very easily. That's what Cyasoon is designed to solve. It's not a dating app, okay? There's plenty of dating apps out there. No, this is different. This is for people who literally need to get in touch with another person based on what they are interested in doing, and it's spontaneous. It's right now, and it's within the 1 mile radius. There is no like adjustment. Oh, I want to meet somebody like halfway across the world. No. It's right here, New York City. We're releasing in this city, and it's an AI-driven platform, and it's super fast. All you do, you upload a video, a selfie video, you speak into the video saying what it is that you want to do. The AI does all the work. It finds all the people within a 1 mile radius of you who say something similar, whatever it is. You want to go running, you want to go bowling, you want to go shopping, whatever it is. And it shows you a feed just like in TikTok or, whatever the social media platforms are out there. You choose if you want to hang out with that person. They get a notification that, hey, this person wants to, hang with you, doing whatever it is that you want to do. Go meet up. And then the best part is that you don't even have to figure out where to go. You basically will be guided to a place that is congruent with what it is that you said you wanted to do. So what did I say? I said running, bowling, shopping, right? We'll send you to a park to run. We'll send you to a track. We'll send you to a bowling alley. If you want to go bowling, and of course, there's limitless shopping opportunities here in New York. So we'll send you to a store. The more specific you are, the better the location is that you and your new friend go to. And then you end up, you hang out, you have a great time. Done. Easy. Go make friends. I'll see you soon. Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, perhaps in the future, if they want to make a podcast, they can go and see you soon, and boom, they come to this location.
Yeah, we could have used it for this. You want to make a spontaneous podcast? Hey, come on out. Let's meet up.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So take me back to the beginning. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And I know you are from Georgetown, so tell me also about your experience in Georgetown as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wow. Okay. Well, it all began, right? Born and raised, USA, right? But I'm an Indian man, right? So I came from an Indian family. And my father was an immigrant to the United States. And of course, Indian family in the United States has to be a surgeon, right? Has to be a doctor. So at least in a small town. So that's how I grew up. I grew up small town, Virginia, the South, right? Not even the South, like the Appalachia. Bluefield, Virginia is my hometown. And that was a great experience. I know it's kind of hard for people to imagine that, they being the only Indian kid in a town in Southern Virginia, but no, it was fantastic. I have a great, wonderful life. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't free of its own like struggles and, that there weren't a few racial slurs thrown here and there. But, it kind of toughened me up a little bit, made me familiar and aware, at least at the very least, I was aware that there was a certain mindset in the world. But no, for the most part, people were fantastic. I felt right at home. Everybody was loving and caring. It was a great town to grow up in. And, I can't say I would live there now. I mean, kind of moved on to much bigger environments, obviously, but yeah, every time I go, it's just a wonderful place to go and kind of reminisce. Anyway, but it was a small town, right? And being a young man, obviously, you want to go out and see bigger and better things. So spent my time there, but it was just too small. I eventually made the decision to move, and one of the big reasons I think behind that was just I got encouragement from my family. It's like Indian families travel all over the world. Like we will spend all of our money to travel all over the world and go visit family members and do other things. My father was originally from the Fiji Islands. He's Indian, but he's from the Fiji Islands.
Oh, wow.
In the South Pacific. Yeah. And so he met my mom, arranged marriage. They got married. And my dad was in med school or finishing on med school at the time. And so they moved to the United States. But that part of the world was always kind of in my life. Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. And so I lived in Australia for a few years when I was a teenager, just visiting family. My grandfather passed away. So went down there, took care of him. So, half my family's half Australian. So I never chose to get the citizenship, but I wanted that but that's the thing. I love the international scene, the international community. I'm not just I don't really fancy myself stuck in just the United States as an American. And that played out in my military experience as well later on. But yeah, I wanted to go to an international place for college, right? And I was at this boarding school in Tennessee, and it was miserable. It was all boys, and that's never fun. But I wanted an international crowd, so I chose, okay, let me go to Georgetown University, applied, got in, it was great. And it was fantastic university. Didn't know what I wanted to do when I got there, which is probably a mistake. I don't recommend that to anybody, to go to college not knowing, at least kind of not having any clue, because it's expensive, and it's even more expensive now than ever before. Go to, maybe don't go to college like right out of high school and go do stuff. But yeah, so I showed up there and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be a lawyer. No, that kind of sucked because I have to write papers all day long, and I don't like really writing prose all day long. So, okay, let's switch over. Let's go be a doctor like Dad. No, that was not fun either. After physics, I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I ended up taking a computer science class. I liked computers. I played a lot of video games, that's for sure. And I was good at it, just getting the games to work on my computer. So let me see what this is all about. I took that class and I kind of fell in love. I was like, okay, cool. This is cool. This is fun. I'm going to do this. and I can get a pretty good job after. Like, that's all. I wasn't even thinking about business or the military or anything. Like, none of that. There was a little bit of it. I was contemplating going to like West Point or something when I was in high school. But no, I just wanted to kind of get out of like a militaristic environment for a little bit, because the boarding school that I went to was very, very regimented, very structured, and very, very orderly. So like, no, I want to do my own thing. Got my computer science degree, bachelor's, and then because it was so late, I got my bachelor's degree in computer science like in 2 years. So I'm like, well, okay, I could go get a job and try, or, and I could go get a job and try, but it was like the dot bomb time, like 2001, 2002. So it was really hard for like guys who were getting out to get jobs. Doesn't that sound familiar? Junior developers today. So I was like, you know what, let me go, because I kind of have, I didn't have as much gestation in my degree. Let me go get my master's degree and just knock that out. So I went straight to grad school and got my master's degree there at George Mason University, which is right down the street. I wanted to stay in Washington, D.C. I love the city. That, I believe, honestly, Sebastian, that's my true hometown, is Washington, D.C. Yeah, that's where I came into my own. That's where I fell in love with life. Yeah, I still, every time I go down there, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is where home is for me. I spent so much time there, right? So love the city, stayed there, got a job, met a friend, he hooked me up, got me into the whole world of military defense contracting. He's like, yeah, you're a great programmer and you've got a great degree and you should just come work over at my company. Like, okay, cool. At this point, I did not care whether I worked at a defense contractor or a civilian company or whatever. I just wanted some money. Like, I was just tired of being like penniless, right, after school. So I took this job, got a secret security clearance, went through all that as a new guy in the, software development world. And yeah, from there, 10 years in Washington, D.C., jumping around. I got bored very easily at these defense contract jobs because, frankly, the software is downright boring. It's boring business apps, database-driven business apps where you pull data from a database, display it on the screen, save data to the database, and like back and forth, and that's it. So really, because I was so bored, I ended up turning into the mercenary type guy who just runs around town and tries to make as much money as he possibly can. I would bounce around from job to job. I got fired a couple times just out of sheer boredom. Yeah. I would just get bored and then I would lose all motivation to work. And sure enough, that's not going to work for an employer. Right. So mental note, make sure to keep my guys entertained while they're here working for me. Yeah. But yeah, that was my life. I must have worked like 12 different jobs. I can't even count. I'll look at my old resumes. I'm like, man, 6 months here, 6 months here, 6 months here. I loved being a contractor though, and not an employee. There was something to that. I was like, why do I not want the kind of, why do I not want to be a part of any of these teams? And I was like, maybe that's just the way I am. But later on, I figured it out. And I learned more about myself the older I get, looking back on my 20s. So yeah. But eventually all things just end up not just coming to an end, but actually making you angry. Like, I started getting angry that I wasn't happy doing the work that I was doing. I mean, I was making great money. I should have been happy.
I was going to ask, was like the software salaries at that time the same as now, or even?
So, okay, now we're talking like before, all of the wars. Before, well, I guess the war was going on the entire time there, but we're talking a lot of inflation has taken place between then and now, right?
Yeah.
If you were to ask me how much money I would make right now, I would need to be at the same comfort level as I was then, I would give you a number. Now, you take that number and you compare it to the price of goods. It is almost a direct match.
Yeah.
Okay, so back then I was making, even at like the 95th percentile or whatever I was as far as money is concerned, I was making the same as, equivalent as someone making that 95th percentile, say, here in New York City.
Oh.
So I don't know, what is that, like 300, 350? I don't know. That's what a developer makes here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like good and they have experience or what have you. Okay. Yeah. I was making the equivalent of that in 2008, 2010 dollars, back then. In Washington, D.C., which is a cheaper place to live than New York City for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's still a high demand job. Being a software developer is, probably the hottest job you could have right now. It's not the most glamorous job, that's for sure. But, hey, you want to make a good living? Sure, do it. And so I had it, right? I had a great job, had great money, had a nice car, had a nice house. Okay, but damned if I wasn't miserable. And I needed something like different, something that was more along the lines of, I guess, my personality. I have a very adventurous, I guess, kind of mindset. Like I want to try new things out. And I couldn't do that in Washington, D.C. because they're all boring defense contractors. And it's like, this is the way it is. And this is the GSA schedule. And this is your, these are the terms of the contract with this government agency. And the government agency is some boring, like, tax company, tax agency or, or some kind of procurement contract, agency. Like, these defense contracts are not as glamorous as they sound. Some of them are badass. There was one that I worked on that was incredible, like really cool, on the ground, real time type mission oriented contract. But most of them are not like that. I searched high and low. I said, what the hell am I going to do? I'm 28, 29 years old. I'm making all this money. And I tell this story, right? Basically, I was working late one night, finishing up a project. It was like 2 a.m. I finished it, and it was great, and everybody was happy the next morning. But, I was getting ready to go home. I got up from the chair. My legs were all like sore because I've been sitting for 4 hours straight. Got up, started letting the blood flow, and walked over to the window, and it was pitch black outside. Had all the lights turned off so I could see like everything outside. And I saw this helicopter, like this. It looked like a Black Hawk. Like I knew all the different airframes and whatnot, And I was like, oh, cool. There's like a Black Hawk. And then I saw other, like, it was like a formation, like of Black Hawks flying over the head with the little blinking red lights and stuff. And I could see like legs like dangling out on the side of the helicopter, right? And this is in like Northern Virginia. And I was like, that looks really cool. And I looked up, I was like, you know what? Damn, I should be on that helicopter right now. And so that was it. Like that's why I sat back down and like I didn't even leave the office that night. I got on, I started, Google searching, Army recruiter, Navy recruiter, going into the military, joining up, going to war, all this kind of stuff. I must have deep dived on this shit for 4 hours. And I was like, okay, well, wow, look at all these different jobs. Which one do I want? And I was like, well, of course, I got to have the special operations job. Like that's the one that appealed to me the most. It's like, that's what I want to do. I was big into fitness. I was big into, traveling and adventure and big into like doing hard stuff, So, okay, let me look into this. Looked at all the different branches. And then, of course, there's the Navy, right? I was like, all right, that's it. I want to be a Navy SEAL. Ain't nothing else about it. Like that's all I want. So, boom, that started the journey to go into the Navy. I'm going to try to, I can make this a lot shorter because this is going kind of long.
It's pretty
I don't want to. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That began my journey into the military. Didn't end up in the Navy. That's another story in and of itself. Mm-hmm. I ended up in the Army. And then the Army has a very similar unit. Not that similar. They would probably kill me if they heard me say that it was similar. Sorry, guys, it's not that similar, but there are some similar mission sets between the unit I was in and the Navy SEALs. So eventually I worked my way through the Army. That was a long journey in and of itself. Completed that and, basically was happy with where I was in the Army. I wasn't the youngest guy on the block by this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you entered the Army at 28. That's kind of like a bit,
or later.
No. At 28 you start the process, right?
At 28, I started the process.
So you.
Yeah,
So
I started dabbling. I started feeling it out at 28. I didn't get in the Army until I was 34 years old.
34.
Yeah.
Wow.
34. 1 year before the age cutoff. Yeah, I was the oldest guy in my platoon at basic training. Pretty much everywhere I went, short of like special operations units, I was the oldest guy in the place. I was older than my drill sergeants at basic training. I was older than, I was the same age as like the first sergeants and the sergeants, first class at my unit, at the 82nd when I first got there. So, it wasn't until later on that, I kind of, my age matched the unit. But.
And do you think for you, you had money, you had a stable job, you were living comfortable.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind, do you think it was more of a purpose, like a purpose mission that you joined the Army?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just the mission. It was who I was. It's who I believed I was at the time. I wanted to go. So this kind of feeds into Cyasoon. Dude, I didn't have any friends like when I was in DC. I mean, I had friends, but they weren't friends that I like considered lifelong friends, lifelong brothers. I didn't have that. I had guys who wanted to hang out with me because we could go to the club together and pick up women together. Like, I had those guys, wingmen, okay? But they were sociopathic and narcissistic and cutthroat and jealous, and not the best people to hang out with, okay? I had a girlfriend. She ended up being my best friend, okay? And ultimately my wife. So there was that, and there was nothing else. I was a lone gunman, man. I was a lone wolf in Washington, D.C. And so I needed something. I needed something different. I needed a new mission. I needed a new lifestyle. I needed a massive overhaul of everything that I was doing. Everything that led up to that point, yeah, I was enjoying it, but it wasn't the complete package, okay? And that is what I sought out. I wanted some brotherhood, and I wanted to go to war, and I wanted to go to war with my brothers, and I wanted to do something hard with them and create lifelong friendships and just relish in that. And so that is one of the big reasons.
Well,
I was definitely chasing the war, that's for sure. I wanted to go to war. I wanted to fight. I wanted to go to Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever, with a special operations unit and do the really, really hard missions.
And talking about hard missions, one thing that kind of stood out about the bio that you sent me. So tell me, how was fighting ISIS?
Well, I mean, there's the war, and then there's me and my unit, right? Yeah. Okay, my unit was, I was an 82nd Airborne infantryman, okay? Or 82nd Airborne was my unit. I was an infantryman at that unit, at 1st Battalion, 325th Airborne Infantry Regiment, okay? 1325 Red Falcons. Airborne all the way, let's go. So that was my unit, and I had come and gone from that unit and the Special Warfare Center at Fort Bragg. And basically, a unit is broken up into little, sections, right? They're called companies and platoons. And so my company was stationed in Baghdad at a complex called the Baghdad Diplomatic Support Center. So it was adjacent to the Baghdad International Airport, and we basically were a combat capable unit at that location. And we were facilitating the shipment and transport of, I don't know what all the details were. They only told us so much, but we facilitated the transport of supplies and materials and provided support to other units, other combat units there. And so yeah, just basically pulling security. And so we had 4 mission sets. And I don't know how much of this I can go into, but some of those mission sets were, definitely, combat related, personal security detail missions. There were static security positions, and let's see, there was also called a quick reaction force. So if there were any troops in contact or any kind of how we call them ticks, if there's any kind of engagements, we would be able to quickly via gun trucks travel to that location. It was with the Delta Company of the battalion. These are all probably going way too much into the weeds here, but yeah, we would provide that support for whatever unit was in contact with the enemy.
Wow.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times, right? I mean, it's times where it's like, hey, I'm on deployment. This is awesome. I have waited for this moment all my life. This is what I joined the Army to do, and this is exhilarating and cool. And then you're bored. And you're bored. And you're overworked. And it's the 82nd, right? To the extreme. Everything at the 82nd is extreme discipline, extreme training. And they didn't stop training us just because we were on deployment. We did training while we were there. We did missions while we were there. And there were no holidays. There were no weekends. I mean, it's a deployment, right? I mean, you're fighting a war. And so the Bravo Company went up to Mosul, and they were there. And it was an overall part of a war effort against ISIS. And thank God, that organization, as brutal as it was defeated during that time. It was great to see that. And be a part of that.
Wow.
That was my deployment in 2017.
That's super interesting. Wow. That was I love everything that has to do with
there were some
Army.
sad moments too, but I mean, I wouldn't want to get into that too much, but yeah. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so now you just going into the end of your Army career. What led you to leave the Army, and then how did that lead to becoming a real estate investor, and then recently founding Cyasoon?
Oh, wow. We're fast forwarding a lot. I'm going to try to do this right. Okay. So I was still in the Army, right? Came back from war. Thank God. Came back in one piece, no issues. And I said, okay, let's keep going. I was still in the Army. I still had many aspirations, right? And I wanted to keep advancing my career. So I continued with it. And there you go. Boom. Finally, third time's the charm. Finally got into Special Forces. And that was in the National Guard. So the National Guard has Special Forces units, the same training. It's the same qualification course at Fort Bragg. Now it's called Fort Liberty, I guess. But that was kind of the next step for me. Now here's the thing. With National Guard, I did not have as much knowledge about the situation as I maybe should have, because it's very difficult to be in the National Guard as a Green Beret and be a businessman at the same time, like a dedicated businessman. Like you can be kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure guys do it, and maybe I just suck. I don't know, but it's a challenge, because to be a skilled special operator, like you have to train, you have to maintain your skills, you have to go to schools, and you have to go to drill, and you have to go on deployment, as opposed to being a full-time soldier. I mean, that's your life, that's your job. Obviously, you're not going to be a businessman as a full-time soldier, or at least not, you can do other things. So I said, okay, let me choose a business. I need to make some kind of income. The National Guard doesn't pay you as much as a full-time, obviously. Even though you could do it if you technically pulled all the strings right, you could probably make more money than if you did active duty. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But I was like, hey, one of the things that is really, really, beneficial to an investor's portfolio is passive income, or as the myth goes, passive income. And where's the best place for passive income? Well, real estate is one of those passive income strategies that you could employ. You basically invest your money into a piece of real estate, and you hire whatever staff you need, or contract with whomever you need to, and they run the place for you, and you get a payment every month at the end from all the rent, and you build that up into a nice big investment portfolio, and now you're getting all this supposedly passive income. I say supposedly because, I had some very big realizations when I got into real estate that it's not as much free money as you would think. But I like real estate, right? And I knew that it was like safe. Like, okay, people always need to have a roof over their head. People need shelter from thunderstorms. They're always going to want a place to sit and be covered. So let me get into real estate. And then I deep dove on real estate like crazy. And, thanks to all of the resources out there on YouTube and, all the ebooks and, seminars and what have you, I said, okay, I got some money saved up. I can put a down payment on a nice little property out here in this real estate market. And so I took the plunge and I became a real estate investor, tried to do something really, really hard, way too hard for a first timer. But I pulled it off, pulled some hair out too while I was at it, and made it happen. So now, so I've got some real estate assets out west in Wyoming. And it's in Wyoming, and that's where all the businesses are based. So it kind of all coincides with everything else that I was doing.
Okay, and then you are the real estate investor. You have these properties in Wyoming. How did it lead to Cyasoon? Where you were like, did you decide you also wanted to do something else, or you wanted to keep going into real estate?
Wow, man. Okay, this is great because we're taking a walk down memory lane here. And this is good for kind of recentering me. So when I was finishing up active duty, right, 6 years active duty, 4 years National Guard, 6 years active duty. I was getting ready to go into the Q course. I got selected. I got at SFAS, Special Forces Selection. I was going into the Q course, just waiting for it to start, okay? And I had some idle time on my hands. It's like, okay, what am I going to do with my idle time? I'm going to come up with a life plan, right? Because at this time, I was 40 years of age. It's like, all right, life plan. What's it going to be? So I always knew that I had my skills as a software developer, right? As a computer programmer, whatever, as an engineer. And I knew that I could always fall back on that. But I also remembered very, very clearly, still, even 6 years later, that was a miserable life, okay? But I said, okay, that's my fallback, my most hated fallback. Then I've got my next plan up from that. The better one, which was, okay, I'm going to be a full-time real estate investor, and I'm going to build that out to become a wealthy man, and over time, right? The thing about real estate is that it's people have called it, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a get-rich-slow scheme. Okay? Real estate, building upon itself, it takes time, And I was like, okay, cool, I'll spend the 20 years to do it. But I don't want to be a rich man in 20 years. I want to be a rich man now, right now. So, but just like everything else, high risk, high reward. Real estate is a lot lower risk, but there's a lot lower reward. You get rich slow. So I said, all right, I need a plan A because I want to get rich. And I want something that I can be proud of too while I'm doing it. I don't want to just start a chain of retail stores. That's not going to make me happy. That's not going to fulfill me. I don't want to get rich starting at some kind of company that does something that I'm not passionate about, that I don't care about the outcome. I don't know. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I'm choosing something on an emotional basis that actually makes me happy inside to see other people fulfilled. It's like, no, I want to be financially free by doing something that I can be proud of, that helps people, and that can help me, right? I made the best friends of my life from joining the military. It's one of the reasons I was in Hawaii, by the way. It wasn't just a family, financial task that I had to complete. My friend is stationed there at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. Tim, love you. Thanks for having me. You need to have Tim on this podcast. Anyway, I met Tim within a month of basic training, of when I finished basic training. And he was one of the first guys I met at Fort Bragg when we were going straight into the special operations training, right? I met him, I met 3 other dudes, and to this day, these gentlemen are my lifelong friends. We're literally, like, we're family, like we're brothers, okay? That is what I wanted, and that's why I left programming in DC. I didn't have that, so I have that now. I said, this is the greatest feeling ever, to have these friends with me.
The brotherhood, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's intoxicating. It's fantastic. And like, I would have parties at my house in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's their Fort Bragg area. It was actually another town called Cameron, but yeah, have them come over, and just I remember like all of those wonderful times that I had with my crew, their families, their kids, you know, their wives, whatever. And I said, you know what? Like, I had to go on this journey to make this happen. People should not have to, though, join the military to make their best friends. It should be something that they can accomplish by other means, you know, in their normal lives, their non-military civilian lives. So I thought about that, and I thought, okay, I have this technology skill. I have these leadership skills that I have developed from the Army, and I have this passion. Okay. And I'm a natural extrovert and a talker. So let's put them all together. What am I going to do? So during this exploratory phase, my brother comes to me and he says, Ketan, I've got this idea. I'm like, what is the idea? It's like, imagine you have an app that allows you to meet up with people who you want to meet up with and go do something fun with, except it's not something you plan. It's not something you sit there and make a profile. It's not something you sit there and text back and forth and chit chat and judge each other and all this and that and make a profile and then upload your photos and then doctor your photos and then put some Instagram filters on it. Like, it's nothing like that. It's a video, and you put it out there, and people will go and get together with you right now, like within the next 15 to 20 minutes. And you don't have to plan anything. It's just there for the taking. All you got to do is just say what it is you want to do. I'm like, Raveen, that's freaking genius. That is a fantastic idea. I want this. And he's like, all right, well, let's build it. Like, okay, well, we got to give it a name. So we went through the name. It's like, you know what? See you soon.
I love the name, by the way. I think it's great. And it's straightforward. It's like, see you soon. Like,
see you soon.
And I was going to ask.
It was available. SeeYouSoon.com.
So basically, like, let's say I want to go and see the sunset in Chelsea Piers. I would just
that's a great use case.
I would just like record myself with, hey, I'm going to be 5:30 p.m. in Chelsea Piers looking the sunset. If anyone that comes by, anyone can come with me.
Exactly.
And then people would see my video, match with it, and then...
Just like that.
Okay.
Yep, exactly, just like that. We'll send you to a place in Chelsea Piers. We'll send you to, you know, one of the restaurants there, one of the coffee shops there, or the actual park, and then you'll go there. But this is when I had the concept that I need to build this. Then I went to a real estate conference in Las Vegas. And I was in the stands, and I was watching Mr. Grant Cardone speak on stage. It was the 10X Growth Conference. I got it. It was a Christmas gift from my brother.
What's the good, by the way? The 10X Conference?
10X Growth Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at Mandalay Bay. This was like 2020. And I was, there because I had my freelance software company, right? Yeah. That was my business before I went into the Army. That's how I was able to jump around and do so many contracts. I had that. It's like, okay, let me bring that back, and then I can build software and do real estate. And all the money that I made from writing software would, all the profits, I guess, would go into real estate investments. So I was like, I need sales, so let me go to this. And I would just started talking about See You Soon. And then I was standing in this massive Mandalay Bay auditorium, and you have all the speakers that Grant Cardone brings to his growth conference. And I'm sitting there watching the speakers, and I'm thinking there are 25,000 people in this auditorium. And I'm trying to meet someone who is either a real estate investor who can go in with me on a deal, or, a broker in Wyoming who knows all the best places to buy and the best deals he can find me, or in Colorado too. And it would be nice to have an IT sales guy too, so that I could get more deals for my technology company too, my freelance company. But the person sitting to my right sold insurance, and the woman sitting to my left was a fireworks dealer. It's like, man, neither one of these people in my immediate vicinity, none of these people are even remotely related to what my needs are as a businessman myself. So wouldn't it be nice if I had a great tool to be able to make a video and tell people what I wanted, and an AI would figure it out and get me to match up with somebody right here, right now, at this growth conference with 25,000 people surrounding me? Surely someone in the stands would be a great compliment to what it is, and me to them. Wouldn't it be great if we had something like that? And then it all clicked. The world needs Cyasoon. People need it for their personal lives, and businessmen need it for their business life, their business activities, and the growth. And that's what started the journey. So it took a while to get it started. Like I said, I was in Special Forces training, but that's where the idea came. And Raveen was the original co-founder. And he and I said, all right, you do the design work. He's the creative one, and I am I'm the technical one. And he was also had the vision, which then he imparted upon me. And it was a good match, So 4 years later, here we are.
Awesome, man. And I know, currently you're based out of New York City. And you have been here for, how long have you been in the city for?
So yeah, we hit the ground in the city in October.
In October.
Yeah. But we didn't have the MVP ready. We were just, hey, let's get here. Let's start marketing. Let's start talking. Let's start building the network here. Let's, find, just all the players that are important in a tech startups space. Let's start building those inroads right now.
And
before we what's
the reason in specific that you guys chose New York City? Because you guys could have chose, LA, SF, Miami.
And that was a big debate. So, that was a huge debate.
Why New York City?
Yeah. So New York's expensive, right? And as a startup, you got to save as much money as you can. You got to be as efficient with your money as possible. But at the end of the day, New York City has the highest population, obviously, in the densest location area of customers, and number two, it has the highest density of businesses. So Cyasoon does not make its money really off of the end user, like the normal person who downloads the app and uses it to go meet other people. I mean, it's a free app, right? No. We make money a different way. We make money through our B2B marketplace. Okay. So it's basically kind of like a finder's fee for people to come and meet together at a coffee shop or a restaurant, a gym, whatever, a place of entertainment. And that's how we make our money. Well, New York has that. A lot of it. And it's all within walking distance for everyone. Because that's how Cyasoon works. We send you to a place to meet your friend within walking distance. We'll get to mass transit and driving later. But to just get started, we needed a walkable city. Washington, D.C. was one of our considerations. Believe me, I know that city. I lived there for 15 years. But it wasn't at the same population density or business density as New York. I mean, there are more restaurants, bars, nightclubs on Mulberry Street than in the entire state of Wyoming. Just one little street. And there's thousands of streets in the city. It's crazy. It's just, you come to New York City and you're blown away. Like, I'd never lived here before, right? I moved here October, and like November. I moved here then, and it still absolutely blows me away at just the scale of this place. Because the number one thing that a business needs, especially a technology startup, the number one thing that it needs is, yes, the talent, the team, all that. And yes, you need to have the idea, sure. But one of the critical things is speed. Speed to release your product, speed to get to this holy grail, which in industry is called product market fit. You want to get there as fast as possible. If you don't have product market fit, you're bleeding money like crazy until you're out of business. And if you find that product market fit fast, you have customers who will literally break down your door to buy your product or to use your product and consume it. And so that's kind of where we are right now. We're in that product market fit journey. We're zeroing in at an ever increasing pace on just who would absolutely be obsessed with Cyasoon. And so New York, again, is the fastest way to get there because it's so many diverse people in such a small area.
No, yeah. And I think like one of the specific things that you said is that business loves speed. And this is everything. I think in sales,
hell yeah.
Speed is everything. One thing that our head of sales has been teaching our other SDRs in the team is that, once the client comes in the door, everything with speed. We finish the call, within a minute, we send them an email.
Yeah.
And this is everything, as a startup that you're building like a product, the same thing as well. The faster you get the customers, the faster that you get everything rolling, the better. Mm-hmm. So no, I think I love that. And something about See You Soon is that you said like far away, you were like, See You Soon helps people and it also helps you. So it's kind of like, it's a good business to work.
Yeah. In. I mean, like we've been at this a year, and I can tell you, if I were working on anything else, sometimes I'll look at other people's startups, right? I'll look at other businesses, and I'll say, oh yeah, that's a really cool AI B2B SaaS. Maybe I should have done that. And then I think to myself, but here's the thing. I would have been miserable the entire time working on it. I'd have been bored. I'd have lost motivation. It would have been the money is not enough for me. Okay. Even if there are, I don't know, billions at the end of the road, that's not enough to keep me motivated. I have to like what I am doing, and I have to be able to move forward from a position of integrity and honor that what I'm doing is good and right, and the customer needs what I am giving them.
Yeah, and going with one feature in specific that stands out from the See You Soon app is that there's no followers, there's no likes. So can you tell me more about the reason behind you guys not wanting to kind of have that social media influencer, social media app? Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. So the way social media works right now is it had wonderful, innocent beginnings, right? Okay, Instagram. What's Instagram? Oh, Instagram was this piece of another app, okay, that, allows you to share your photos. That's it. Hey, I want to share my photos. I want my friends to see my photos. This is great. Now it has turned into, you're not just sharing your photos, like you're sharing your life, okay? And you are attracting people to your life, not just because you enjoy the process of sharing your life with people, but you can make money from sharing your life with people, or you can make money by putting out content. Okay, content creation, right? That's what everybody goes to in social media, no matter what it is, right? Because there's money to be had, sure. We don't try to make our money from content creation. We're trying to get you to, we're trying to facilitate your social life. We're trying to give you a circle of friends through a tool that gets you off the app, that gets you off your phone and interacting with people in real life, doing something, playing soccer, throwing a football, making memories with someone. One of the things we like to say is, let's stop creating content and start making memories, okay? That's what Cyasoon is supposed to do. I don't like the whole clout chasing thing. I'm just not that kind of guy. I don't want like all these people to gush over me and, put contents or put comments in my on my threads or whatever. Like, that's not. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself with people, and I want to enjoy myself doing the things that I like to do. It's an activity-based product. It's not a content creation product.
I love that.
There's no followers per se, right? I mean, now, so when I say follower, what I mean is my understanding of follower is somebody who's just watching, a watcher. Okay, I'm watching this other person do whatever it is because they are providing entertainment value to me. We're not doing followers. We're doing connections. Okay, so when you meet with somebody in Cyasoon, that is the only way that you get somebody to follow you. Okay, you cannot even initiate that unless you go in person, in real life, and actually meet up with that individual. Then, okay, this is a person that you spent time with, that you met up with, that hopefully you had a good time with. And now you can show them like what it is that you're doing. You can chat with them or follow up with them or set something else up with them or have your own party with all these people that you met and have them all come to you. Like these are relatively new features, but that's where we're going with Cyasoon. That's it. It's got to be genuine. I want to bring back the genuine nature of interpersonal communication and interpersonal relationships back to the world using technology.
No, I love it. I think it would, like, if there was like a tagline, it would be Cyasoon is not a social media for influencers, but to make memories.
That's right.
Real life memories.
Yeah. It is literally see you soon. Not next week, not next month. Like right freaking now.
So one thing I wanted to also touch base is about your thoughts and opinion about the current social media apps.
Thoughts, yeah, social media. I mean, like nobody watches TV anymore, right? They watch social media. They watch Netflix. That's not social media, but they watch TikTok. They watch Instagram. And they take it with them everywhere they go. So in this device, you have limitless entertainment. Okay, so long as the content that they're curating is, the algorithm is good. And so imagine before there was TV. What did people do? Okay, they had the radio. Okay, well, before the radio, what did people do? They hung out with each other. Humans were really the only real form of entertainment that they had. They go to somebody's house and they play a game, or they go to someone's like a gathering place and they'd play music together, or they would go to a dance, or there'd be a gathering, or they go to church, or whatever it was that people did. And people were happier. They did a study, I think, that the happiest people in the world right now, I think, are like the Amish in like Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And these people have no TV. They have no electricity. They don't even have lights. Okay. But they ask these people, same survey that they ask everybody else. Everybody's like just off the charts in terms of like how happy they are. There's something there. Okay. And when you have this device that you take with you everywhere you go, and it's your life. I think they recently banned cell phones for like minors in school or something, and these kids are flipping out that they can't bring their phone to school. They're crying over it. They're literally brought to tears that they can't bring their phones to school. There is something going on that is really bad. Like that's not normal, at least to me, who grew up before cell phones and grew up before even the internet, honestly. Or I guess I was born before the internet. So this wonderful technology that has made life so dang blasted convenient for everybody, especially me, with all the different fires I got to put out every day and all the business things I got to do. And, it is also has the capability to destroy our lives. It is keeping us from communicating with each other. Because why do we need to communicate with each other? We have something else that will entertain us. We don't need to entertain each other with just our own personalities and our own stories and our own lives. We're not doing anything. We don't need to make anything of our lives because we can just watch someone else's life and they'll do things with their life to make money that we give them or the advertisers will give them, and then we'll look at the advertisers. So it is a degradation of human life to just be a spectator and watch another person on social media. And then there's the whole addictive quality about it that just gets you watching it more until, do you even know how to have a conversation? I've seen it with my own two eyes. The difference in conversations I had when I was younger, like in my early 20s, and conversations I have now with people. People are afraid to say hello. They are afraid to even talk. If you do get them into a conversation, they're sitting there and they're like nervous and they're stressed and, oh my God, I don't know what to say. Like they are visibly disturbed to have to communicate to you. And these are not just introverts. Like these are people that are extremely self-conscious, and it's like, where did this come from? I don't like it, right? And, I will see, I'll get up in the morning and I'll be like, okay, let me check this. What are all these little red numbers, right? I'm kind of OCD too. Like I like clearing all of the red numbers off of all my icons.
On the apps.
Yeah, on all the apps. I'll try to clear all, like I got to get all these stupid red numbers. They chose red for a very specific purpose, and they chose the number for a very specific purpose. It literally gets you, like, I've got to get this ugly pockmark on my screen off. That's not the icon I want to see. So then I'll go to Instagram and boom, now you're sucked in. Now, okay, I've got 7 whatever red or 1,500 or whatever, like one of these influencers will have. And he's like, oh, you got 1,500 likes and you have these 2,000 comments and this and that. And you can sit there on this app all day long doing this and basically just 1, killing your time, 2, killing your happiness, and 3, killing your personality. You have nothing to offer the world because you don't do anything to communicate or output anything into the world, even to people who you know. So, yeah, my take on social media, like I don't believe in banning anything, okay, ever. And yeah, we definitely shouldn't ban social media. I could see maybe like preventing students from having phones. Sure, that's a distraction. You should be focused on like your education or whatever. But like when it comes to social media, it's crack cocaine for the masses in a way.
Yeah, I think like my generation in specific, like they're like, even the social interaction is a bit weird. Me, myself, I come from Ecuador, and when I interact people that are like new to this country, it's even different, the social interaction, the things that they have done in life, when you meet people that have been just sucked into the social media addiction. And I think that's the reason why there's so many people that have been depressed, have anxiety, and it's crazy because it comes from an app. It's like the cigarette of my generation is social media. Yeah,
and it's having really dangerous effects. I mean, there's a lot of factors at play, and I watch all the speakers and kind of thought leaders on this. People aren't dating as much, right? Not that Cyasoon's a dating app, but I'm just saying, like, I used to go on dates, right? All the time. And it was like normal. And you didn't have to have like these, you didn't have to have this grandiose lifestyle. You could just be a normal guy and get a really beautiful girlfriend if you were just fun and, a good conversationalist. You could, everybody would know who you were, whether you were, wherever you were working, wherever you lived. It was almost impossible for you to not have some kind of communication or contact with another human being because you needed each other, right? Neighbors would go over and hang out. I mean, when I was a kid, right, I was the only Indian kid in my town, but there was another town, like across the border in West Virginia, Bluefield, West Virginia. And there were a lot of there were a lot more Indians in that town. Okay, let's call it that. Okay, so my Indian dad, he was a doctor, and he had all of his doctor friends. And there were at least, I would say, like 15, 20 families in the neighboring town, which is kind of far, but not that bad. So we'd always drive over there. And I met all of my friends from childhood in that town because of this family kind of, whatever, medical industry, connections that we had. We'd go over there, and I would spend time with my friends. And sure, we'd play video games. Sure, there was Nintendo and Sega, whatever. Cool. But we roamed the neighborhood. We got out. You ever seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Bro, that was my life. That was it. We were hiking all over town. We were playing tackle football at the park. We'd walk to the corner store together and like buy ice cream. Like we would do these things just naturally and just go. And our parents didn't freak out. And we didn't have this constant fear of child molestation. Like this child molestation thing is insane. And this human trafficking thing is also ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. I'm that wasn't even a thing. Like the words human trafficking just did not come up in day-to-day conversation while I was growing up. Or, sure there were like child molesters, but it wasn't like, it just was not where it is today.
Yeah. And I think social media has to do something with it, or like the internet.
So the internet, sure. It used to be like if it was on the news, it would freak people out. Yeah. Right? A child abduction. Oh, okay. So that came out like in the 90s or like the late 80s. Child abduction. Now all the parents start getting scared. Because, I don't want my child to get abducted because one child was abducted here. And, that's sad. Those stories are terrible to hear. But it definitely, like, just the media of whatever that kind of media is, of, the legacy media would scare people with stories of what happened to one particular person. But now with social media, like now everybody sees every story. And this world is like, yeah, sure, it's a scary world. But now everybody knows just how scary this world can be and how scary people can be. And it's just been bombarded to them through social media.
And in regards to the social media problem, how are you fixing that with Cyasoon?
Well, okay. So we have to address this, right? Yeah. We have to make sure that this is on people's minds. Nobody wants to get abducted. Nobody wants to be molested. Nobody wants to be raped. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be, attacked. So, hey, neither do I, right? So we have in Cyasoon, right, is in an effort to bring back the enjoyment and the fulfillment that you would get from interacting with other humans. We also have to have, safety measures in place. So a part of this is we have measures in place that can confirm to people that they are indeed speaking to a real person. And hey, we have a verification feature that ensures that people have had a sufficient criminal background check on the platform, and that they can voluntarily go and submit their information, face just exact same thing that you would do with verifying information at your bank or verifying information at your like institutions that require you to be an authentic human being. Face photo ID, it's 100% private, it's encrypted, we can't even get that information ourselves, and it basically verifies that, yeah, this is a real person. And we do an asynchronous criminal background check with the information that's on your driver's license. And we are able to identify if you have any arrest warrants or if you're a sex offender registry or just all the obvious public stuff that you can get to on your own. We just facilitate it and make it faster. Like you can find if somebody's on the FBI most wanted list. You go to the FBI's website and you find out, okay, is this guy on the FBI most wanted list? Whatever. So sex offender registry is the same thing. Yeah.
Everybody that you meet at See You Soon has been, well, everybody that is in the app is because they went through a government clearance through your software, through your AI.
If you meet them, you can get on the app without that. But the actual process of meeting up, that requires more scrutiny. Okay. And so the user is given the information they need to determine, is this person a real person? Well, everybody's real, but is this person, has this person undergone a criminal background check or not?
Oh, wow.
And so you can make that judgment call.
Interesting. So yeah,
so we make it very obvious to you.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of See You Soon, what do you think makes it different than other social media apps, and kind of what are your plans for the future as you keep evolving and making it bigger?
So yeah, I mean, so with Cyasoon, okay, so there's one-on-one, right, communication and one-on-one interaction. But that sometimes people don't want to just hang out with one person. They may want to hang out with a group of people. Maybe they feel safer in a group, right? So that's the next big thing, is where you can actually go and see if there's a party or a gathering of some kind or some kind of event that's taking place. You could host your own Super Bowl party, for example, and say, hey, anybody who's in a 1 mile radius who wants to hang out, come on out and see us. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, put a limit on how many people are going to show up at your house all in one shot, you know. But yeah, you can say, hey, I'm looking for 10 people who want to hang out and watch the Super Bowl with me. Come on over. I got food, I got chips, I got dip. Let's hang out and have a good time. And then that's one feature. So spontaneous impromptu parties. Of course, the one-on-one thing, but the AI does all the work. Okay. Now, we have to make money too, obviously. So 2 of the big things that we're setting up right now is our B2B platform, our business tier, our professional tier. So let's say you are a nightclub owner, or you have a yoga studio or something like that, and you want to have a gathering of people who want to do whatever it is that you're putting on, right? If it's a yoga class or personal training or a dance party, right? That's for our professional users. So we're calling it Cyasoon Professional. And so it's a B2B. It's very similar to what you would use Airbnb for or Vrbo or something like that. You get on there, you set up your account, and now what you can do is you can project into people's, you know, as they're looking at people who they want to spend time with in real life, you can put your product out there or your service out there that is an in real life type of experience, and then people can go and enjoy that and come to you. And then, you know, likewise, if you're a business, you can also do that with, say, hey, I'm, you know,
it's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday. I'm having specials all day long, all afternoon. Come on out and let's get a nice deal on some tacos and have a good time with all your taco loving buddies.
I love that. So it's 1 mile's radius, right? When it's like for one-on-one for See You Soon.
One-on-one is 1 mile radius. We're tempted to increase the radius for the events and the businesses.
Yeah.
So we're just, as a technology startup, we have to talk to our users. This is a fundamental aspect of, you know, any new technology or any new product that you're bringing to the market. Talk to your users and find that perfect happy medium, that Goldilocks kind of situation where it's, you know, ideal. Yeah. And so, yeah, but as we go forward, we'll start with 1 mile radius. I mean, New York City has such a business density that no matter which neighborhood you're in, unless you're in, like, I don't know, some rural outpost of Staten Island, you're probably going to find what you need.
Yeah.
At least in Manhattan, which is where we're releasing. That's
true.
Ground zero for us.
True enough, but like See You Soon is the app where you finally are going to meet your neighbors.
Yeah, you will finally meet your freaking neighbors.
Yeah.
I am in a building, okay, with 6 floors, okay? It's a walk-up right now. And I will come in, and people will not even say hello. They will have their AirPods in, and they will have their sunglasses on, and they will get on that elevator with you, and they won't say a word. And even if I reach out to them and say, oh, hey, how's it going? They don't hear me because they have the AirPods in. I don't know. I'm not at a point yet where I'm going to make people take out their AirPods so I can say hi to them, right? You know what I mean? So basically, that's exactly where Cyasoon comes in. They don't want to talk right now. Okay, cool. But here's the thing. When you're sitting in your apartment and you're all alone and you're lonely, well, you had your chance many, many times this week to get to know your neighbors and just hang out. You chose not to, but now you do. It's okay. We got you. Download Cyasoon. Go meet your neighbors.
Perfect. No, I love that. I think that's super interesting. And it's crazy how New York City is one of the most dense and populated cities, but it's at the same time, it has the loneliest people.
This is the loneliest city in the world. So they say.
Yeah.
This is, I think that's actually I think they actually did a survey. Like, what's your loneliness level? And like the loneliness level of people who live in New York City is higher than any other place in the world. It's amazing. But I mean, once you think about who's here, it's not like these are a bunch of people who like don't have the ability to talk. They just are either uncomfortable with it because they don't do it, or, I mean, let's face it, nobody comes to New York City to just screw around, right? Or just hang out and just chill. This is a hustle town. Like that's a whole reason I'm here. And that's the whole reason why almost everybody else is here. They're here to make something for themselves. They're here to advance their career, make more money, build a better life for themselves. You know, find the best possible romantic partner they can get. You know, and everybody here is an overachiever. I see it with my own two eyes. I don't think there's a single person that I've met who hasn't graduated from college, like a good college. All right, like Ivy League, top tier, 5-star universities, at least in Manhattan. I haven't met anybody. Everybody is a superstar here. Hard workers, motivated, focused, dedicated people. Like elites. It's a borough or a city of elites, you know. And but here's the downside to that. You know, if you're constantly focused on your own life, and you neglect interacting with other people's and their lives, or developing some kind of deep bond with somebody. I'm not saying everybody's like that. Of course, there's deep friendships that are emerging between people here. But there are some people who need a hand. Or some people who just have very specific taste.
Oh, yeah.
Let the AI work for you and find another person with that specific taste. You know, for me, okay, I'm a combat veteran, entrepreneur, and I like techno music. I think there's probably like maybe 10 people in the city that are exactly that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's see what Cyasoon brings to me, you know? Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely the place. This is another reason why we wanted to bring it to New York. First, it's because people here need it the most.
Yeah.
So.
And for the viewers here, the Cyasoon app is available on the App Store, correct?
That's right. It's on the App Store. You download it now. We've had 800 downloads so far. These are starter numbers, right? We're just getting started. But we have had fantastic response from people who are outgoing, who are athletic, who are travelers. They're here for just a little bit. They don't know anybody, or maybe they just moved into the city. They are our biggest supporters, and they're ready to meet you. They're ready to go out, have a good time, enjoy what the city has to offer. And there's a limitless supply of things to do, both free and paid, in this city that you can go and enjoy.
Yeah, so if anybody is watching here and want to meet someone right now, go to Cyasoon.
Yep, 15 minutes or less. 15-second video is all it takes.
Yeah. And now kind of like one of my last questions, it would be about what does the future holds for you and then also for Cyasoon?
Oh, the future is bright. It is a very calculated path that we have that is ever adaptable, but it's basically get Cyasoon into the hands of our ideal customer, right? Standard business practice. Identify our ideal customer. We think we've identified who that ideal customer is. It keeps zeroing in and narrowing down to a very specific audience. Get Cyasoon into the hands of that customer. Get them to enjoy Cyasoon. And then once we have a foothold here in New York City, explode, just grow, put everything we've got into it. I am doing this. I am working for nothing, right? Very little money. Okay. My other businesses are keeping me afloat. Let's put it that way. I care about my team. I want my team to get paid before I do. Sure. But my goal is to sweep Manhattan, sweep through the boroughs, okay, including Staten Island.
Really?
I'm looking out for you guys, okay, and then expand into the greater New York area, and then onward to other cities in the United States, cities with very high population of young, traveling, athletic, adventurous, outgoing folks. College cities, so Boston, Washington, D.C., my pride and joy, love to be in D.C., but we need to get into now the greater community, okay, and other types of people and use cases who would need Cyasoon, like the business community and other traveling towns. So Las Vegas and Miami are the two crown jewels that will come down the line probably in a year, more like 2 years. And so once we hit that, then expand onward and upward, every city in America, every city in the world. So we have a roadmap, but that's it. Get Cyasoon in everybody's hands and go, we're looking for investors. I'm doing a pre-seed round right now. Okay, we've got great terms, got great safe note terms for you guys. Hit me up. And but yeah, as we go, we don't need the money right now, thank God, and things are going pretty well. But I want to keep this ball rolling, and I want to grow faster. Right, that's the big play. This is my plan A. Right, the goal is this is it. This is my big play in my life, and it's a worthy cause.
Yeah, I love it. And like you said before, I think just like right now, I have seen some even like family cousins or siblings that I've seen them too much on the phone because the social media entices for you to be on the phone while Cyasoon entices someone to go out and actually make memories in real life instead of just being on a screen. So that's something that I'm a big supporter of, like the social media detox. And even though Cyasoon is a social media, it kind of forces you to have that detox by going out.
We're a social meetup.
Okay.
App.
Love that.
Not media. I mean, we could be media, but we're not media. I mean, yeah, it's a meetup app.
Okay.
Go make memories.
Perfect.
And do it now.
Okay. And well, I think like the last question that I have, and it's just like kind of like from listening to your journey and everything that you have been through, how has being in the army affected the creation of Cyasoon? Maybe any specific characteristic, like discipline?
Oh, man.
What do you think, like...
I would not have been able to do this had I not been in the army. For me personally, okay. I have a team. And I know every founder says they have like an awesome team. But this team would not be here today had I not done what I did in the Army, what I learned in the Army. I try to apply every leadership principle that was instilled within me from my time as an NCO. And it works. Like, I have a badass team. I don't have to micromanage them. I don't have to look over their shoulder. I don't have to chase them down. I don't have to beat them over the head with a stick. I give them a task and purpose, 2 military terms. I give them a task and purpose and freedom and left and right limits, another military term, and they basically just run with it. They check back in with me. We do a kickstart every day. I keep tabs on them, but they are self-starters. They are independent thinkers, and they love Cyasoon, and they are motivated to see this through just as much as I am. I cannot do that if I am your, typical businessman that says, I'm looking for profit, la, la, la. It has to be something that's more than yourself. That's what the Army was to me. That's what America is to me. And I want Cyasoon to be the same for my team.
Amazing. I love it. I think that's awesome to kind of finish off the podcast. And before we end, can you tell the audience where they can find, the social media for Cyasoon, And also, if you want to plug in your socials as well.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys, hey, if you liked what you heard, listen, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. We're on 8 social media platforms. @symbol, join Cyasoon. And you can find out more about the app itself at cyasoon.com. And, hey, we put on raves. Okay, we put on runs. We've got a run club now, just kind of facilitating, getting together. Come and see us. And you'll see all of it on our socials. But @Join Cyasoon is where it's at. You can go to the App Store if you have iOS. We are working on the Android version. We're putting out the first release of the Android version, the basic release. You won't be able to meet anybody on the Android version, but it's coming to the Google Play Store. By the time you see this, it'll be there. And it's Cyasoon, Cyasoon, as it's spelled. You can find it on the App Store. Download it today. On board with us. Come to our next rave. Follow us. And go meet somebody. Go make friends in real life right now.
Exactly. And I will also have all the details in the description down below, so you guys can go and check all the apps as well and all the links. Well, Ketan, it was a pleasure having you in the podcast.
Fantastic. All right. Appreciate it, bro.